Dolmen without mounds in Denmark. Romantic and nationalistic feelings in the beginning of the 19th century used the dolmens and depicted them as freestanding in an imposing way. Poskær Stenhus, in English Poskær Stonehouse, is the most famous and well-known dolmen in Denmark. It's a round dolmen with a diameter around 16 meters with one polygonal chamber. The monumental appearance was great until 1943, when the lower part of the outer front of the curbstones were hidden to protect them from falling. This dolmen without a mount is a K-site, as will be apparent in the following. The ideas presented here is developed together with Niels. Information at Poskær Stenhus in 1995 and since. Let's take a closer look at the text in my translation. Reconstruction of the round dolmen's originally appearance before the destruction of the drywall between the curbstones and the removal of the soil of the mount, which perhaps concealed the chamber totally. The chamber was not, as today, open and accessible, but must have been opened up in connection with new burials and offers to the dead and the gods. A frustrating text, and if real, many constructional elements would be difficult to explain. We did not agree. The four types of dolmens. Number one is the regular angular chamber, 1 to 2.5 meters long. The orthostats is in the same height. The capstone totally sealed the chamber. Number two at the right is as type 1, but with an opening in one of the short ends. Number 1 and 2 constitute the older types. The orthostats in the long sides are placed on their long ends. Number 3 to 4, we could call them polygonal dolmens, have more than 4 sides. They are younger, bigger and higher because the orthostat stands on their short sides. In Denmark, as told by Niels, we had a sharp difference between dolmens and passage graves. And it all depends on if the passage are connected, or is connected with a curb. And here you can see it is connected, so we speak about a passage grave here, but here at Poskær Stenhus there is missing, or has never been, those 2 stones, which could have done that it would have been a passage. Perhaps a small difference, but it means that there is no mount if there is no outer passage stones, and if there is passage stones all the way, you will have also a mount. In Denmark, there are about 1,800 protected dolmens, which can be divided into 3 classes. There is the long dolmens, the upper, and the round dolmens to the left, and the freestanding chambers. There is 2 explanations how the different looking today. The one is that they have been destroyed, decayed, and eroded since they were built, and these factors are responsible for the variety and difference in the appearance of dolmens today. For in a way, they all were built in the same manner. We could call it the erosion theory, which was put forward by Svend Thorsen in 1984. With number 1, you have the finished and untouched monument in the Neolithic with a mount. Later in the Neolithic, decay has begun, as you've seen in number 2. And in number 3, around 1900 AD, the mount has nearly disappeared, and erosion and ploughing makes it smaller and smaller. Then, in our times, in the last 100 years, in number 4, the rest of the mount was removed. The curbstones has gone, and the result is a freestanding dolmen. This is a convenient theory. Every dolmen you see today can be fitted into this scheme. But there is also another possibility. At Bygholm Nør, I think I forget to show you the faces here in the erosion theory, from a full developed dolmen at the upper and to a destroyed mount and only a freestanding chamber at the lowest. But back to Bygholm Nørremark, which can be used to show there is another possibility. At Bygholm Nørremark, there are at least 5 phases from phase 1 with a fenced open area around without a mount to phase 5, a long mount with curbstones and a passage grave. The phases are spanning 500 to 600 years, and if we froze the monument at each state, we would have 5 different monuments. In the same way, dolmens could have developed in a dynamic way. Let us first see at the freestanding chambers. Trollesten, meaning troll stone in South Sweden, is a polygonal chamber freestanding excavated and very well published by Strömberg. Ceramics and small assemblages of burnt human bones were found at the paving in front of the dolmen. No traces of mount nor curbstones. The paving corresponded with an activity area and the surface in the Neolithic. Another example is Lunden at Denmark, a freestanding chamber also, situated in an old forest. No mount, nor curbstones. Tustrup is a well-known megalithic site. You know it from its cult house, but there is also a passage grave and 2 dolmens, and here we will concentrate about the dolmens. Here see we one of the dolmens, a freestanding one, but it had looked very different in the Neolithic. By the excavation, it was revealed that the chamber was surrounded by a paving and a circular setting of small curbstones, a round dolmen, and an outer concentric circle of freestanding orthostats with a diameter of 11 meter. Stenhus, meaning stone house. The high elevation of this polygonal chamber on top of a steep-sided small hill makes it unlikely, physically speaking, that the chamber ever was encapsulated in a mount. And you saw that Torben meant the same in his child's drawing. Kjallesten is a polygonal chamber in a round dolmen with small curbstones. Between the chamber and the curbstone is another circle of stones. Nearly no mount the artist noticed in 1879, only very little mount field seen in relation to the surrounding surface. And in the lower part you see our section of it, and you can also see the flat surface. The bulk to the right of the chamber is due to animal activity. Here are 2 other dolmens, smalls, with curbstones and inner stone circles and without mount, this time situated at a complete plain surface. Poskær Stenhus, here we have it again, was visited in 1770 by the antiquarian Søren Abildgaard, who drew this sketch between his notes. At that time, there existed a small stone circle at the inner surface of the round dolmen, and he also described it. It was removed in 1859, 1 year before the protection of the monument. The shown cases of dolmens with inner stone circles are important because they show a surface and activity area in a certain moment in the prehistory. And since that time, they have not been covered by a mount. The dolmens are open structures without mounts. Gunnerslevholm Skov, meaning Gunnerslevholm Forest, is a long dolmen with one chamber of type 1. It's seen to the left, and a unique inner stone surface without soil between the 40 to 90 centimeter big stones. Curbstones at the right side of photo are marked with a red star. In 1999, we measured and drawn Gunderslev Holm. You see it, the plan on the right hand is about 55 meter long. And then there are two sections, one at the chamber. And around the chamber, the mound field is biggest because it functions as packing around the chamber, quite normal practice at dolmens. And the other section, but in some distance from the chamber, the mound field is quite lower. The stones in the area seals the surface of the mound in the Neolithic. Skelte, a long dolmen with one chamber, which, like the curbstones, are shown in red. Later in the Bronze Age, the long dolmen was twice covered by a round mound. Pollen analysis showed different spectra of the vegetation in the Neolithic humus layer and the mound field of the long dolmen, indicating a span of time before the mound was placed. Here you see the chamber photo taken 1 week ago. Torp, you heard about it yesterday, and it has 2 to 3 phases. The curbstones belong to the youngest phase. And again back to Tustrup, this time the round dolmen excavated and restored in the 50s by Paul Kierum. The mound field consists of 2 different stones layers. The lower layer in front of the photo consisting of stones bigger than those in the upper layer. The upper layer you can, for example, see over here in this section. It's made up of smaller stones. The 2 layers were separated by a layer of shifting sand. In connection with the upper and youngest layer were found Iron Age ceramics. The surface in the Neolithic of the inner area in the round dolmen seems to be the lower stone layer, according to the excavator Paul Kierum. This is a real dolmen in Danish terms, built by erratics or glacial boulders, not slabs. Special selected hue stones were used as capstones, so the impression were monumental and eye-catching. Stones that float to the sky, you can see, but this dolmen here is not a portal dolmen, so let's add bumblebees are also good flyers. Passages at dolmens are not real. It was not possible to enter the dolmen chamber if a mound more or less covered it. The stones constituting the passage are low and small and alone symbolic expressions. Capstones at the passages seem never to have existed. Tustrup round dolmen again, after being restored in 1994 and converted to a dolmen with a mound to show a normal Danish dolmen. But access to the chamber became with this restoration problematic because the chamber has no passage. For us, the problem and the solution seem simple. It was a dolmen without a mound, and it was easy to enter the chamber. Tustrup round dolmen reconstruction by an artist in an article by Paul Kierum in Kulm 1957. But how did it look in the interior? The first section, number 1, closed as restored in 1994 with a wall with fill behind. Or was it more open as number 2, as the excavator Paul Kierum meant, with a fenced and partly open inside? Oh, by God, had the artist just shown the reconstruction seen a little bit from above. Maybe also the spaces between the orthostats in the chambers were totally sealed by drywall masonry from bottom in the mount to the top over the surface of the mount. In that way, the dolmen builders made a closer, dark and sacred room. Today, only the lower part of the drywalls are preserved. This has nothing to do with Tustrup, but it's just an idea I got with those freestanding dolmens without masonry today, but perhaps they have been totally sealed as proposed here. Halskov Vænge, a long dolmen restored by Svend Thorsen on the basis of lot of moundfield which had flowed from the mound. And another long dolmen, Stridsmølle section, where you here see the section through dolmen, mound and chamber. It's a chamber of type 1. One of the orthostats is partly missing, but you see there is a lot of moundfield, but again, and it's a very compact, and there is no faces to be seen, but again, we are directly at the chamber. Kælderrød is a long dolmen, and it has extraordinary much moundfield, with a height of 1.5 meters, far more than its curbstones. Another long dolmen called Langben Riseshøj has also a lot of moundfield. We have made section of 3 of these mounds with older chambers of type 1 to 2 and with much moundfield. And the green lines mark the undisturbed surfaces today. As capstones has been chosen slabs up to 50 centimeters thickness, not much. It looks like a deliberately choice, so they were easy to hide in the mound. How can that be explained? Earlier you saw a plan of the 2 long barrows at Barkær, and here you shall see, and on your right you see the schist of stone from Barkær, and a reconstruction drawing of Konens Høj, a schist made of planks and wood. The 2 long mounds at Barkær are the key to the solution. In each long mound there have been found 2 schists. 3 were made of wood and 1 made of stone slabs, imitating the planks in the wood schist. All 4 schists are contemporary, it seems. The plank schist points back in time to the earthen long barrows in the early Neolithic. Meanwhile, the stone schist points forward to the real dolmens. And here you see a plan of Barkær, number 1, and then 4 other examples of stone slab schist. The stone schist of Barkær type are constructed by slabs, and their capstones are also slabs easy to hide like plank schist in a mound for never to be seen again. But with number 6, you have a plan of a real dolmen. Chambers are made of erratics and boulders with regard to the long sides, and a big, thick capstone, always visible, sealed the chamber. Knøsen is a freestanding dolmen at the island of Samsø. Here it is drawn by Kornerup. A dolmen have to be looked at from the outside. But passage tombs are most interesting seen from the inside. And this is not the Grønhøj passage. Rituals at the open dolmens could be joined and overlooked by a lot of people under the open sky. Rituals in the dark, closed rooms of the passage tombs could only be conducted and followed by a few people, though many people could survive the offerings in front of the tombs. Rituals dictates architecture. Open rituals and dolmens contra closed ritual and passage tombs. Conclusion. Then we propose to turn Svend Thorsen's erosion theory around in accordance with the theory dolmens without mounds. Number one in the Neolithic, built in the Neolithic, is a freestanding dolmen without mound and without curbstones. Number two, adding of curbstones, perhaps a generation later in the Neolithic. Number three, adding of mound, perhaps in the passage tomb period, inspired by lots of mound field in those structures, and or later in the Bronze Age. Number four could be our time, and perhaps in 50 years, if it not was protected or something bad happened, it's perhaps a freestanding chamber again. Let's hope for the coming memorials with dolmens that they still can be seen and are without mounds. Thank you.